speaker, our brother Maurice Pennington Bey. Islam, happy holy day.
Islam, happy holy day.
Islam, Islam, Islam. I give praise to Allah and honor to His holy prophet, Noble Jew Ali. I give honor to the forerunner of the prophet, Noble Jew Ali, Brother Marcus Mosiah God. I give honor to all the holy and the divine prophets of Allah because all the holy and the divine prophets of Allah taught Islam. I give honor to all of the past and the present true leaders to this Moorish Science Temple of America and their officers and their stations. I give honor to all of the faithful members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, all the Moors who came out to celebrate this Holy Friday. And I give a special honors to Temple number 2. Islam Moors. Wow. Hey, the sister had me taking notes, Moors. The sister had me taking notes. She said, "This can't be my life." She said that it's people out there right now and that they are thinking, this can't be my life. The Prophet Noble Jew Ali said that this is for those who think that their conditions can be better. Now, it's a difference between people who are going through something and they might be going through hell. I mean, there are a lot of people right now as we speak, who are going through hell, that state of mind, but they don't even know. It's a difference between those individuals and those who be still, look at their situation and say, this is hell, I don't want to be here. The difference is that Allah has come to get his child. When you start waking up to the reality that what you're going through is not something that you're supposed to be going through, it's not something that you need to be going through, where your feet are or where you lay in your head is not somewhere where you need to be abode, then Allah has come to get his child. All right. Islam. She said, value you. Value you. Don't worry about how much somebody else think you are worth. Don't worry about what acknowledgement you get from outside of you, especially in this social media era that we living in right now. Don't worry about that. Don't be concerned with that. Recognize your own value. Know yourself and value you. The chairman began the meeting by reading the holy unity of the rich and the poor. Now, this whole entire chapter can be summed up in quick thought. The difference between the rich and the poor in this particular chapter is that one knows what's truly valuable and one don't. See, one knows that happiness, that the love of Allah and that love that's continued through Allah's children to them, to his children. We know that that's the value. So what's the difference between our temple and their temple? What's the difference between the Prophet Noble Jew Ali's true followers and those who just follow by with their tongue? We know what's valuable. We know why we're here. We know what the work is that we got to get done. I want to take a reading from the Holy Bible. Because when the Moors was talking, I was thinking about what Jesus was demonstrating, right? First, I want to read about these demons. So it says, I'm reading from the book of Matthew, chapter 12. I'm starting at instruction number 43. It says, when an unclean spirit goes out of a man, he goes through dry places, seeking rest, and finds none. Then he says, I will return to my house from which I came. And when he comes, he finds it empty, swept, and put in order. Then he goes and takes with him 7 other spirits, more wicked than himself, and they enter and dwell there. And the last state of that man is worse than the first. So shall it also be with the wicked generations. See, what happened was the demon left. The demon left and he couldn't find nowhere comfortable for a demon. He couldn't find nowhere comfortable to sleep. So he said, man, you know what? I got to go back to that individual. Remember what the sister was talking about? Leaving and coming back. You understand? Because this is the cycle that the fool goes through. The always beginning part, right? So when the demon came back, he found the place empty. So even though this one had got rid of the demon, they had came to the temple, they had got the teachers, they proclaimed their nationality, they were embraced, they were loved, they were given all of those things that a man or a woman need to save a nation. They only had one responsibility: save yourself. They didn't do it, they left. So therefore, it's empty. They didn't replace this emptiness with nothing. So when the demon came back, he realized that he had room for his homies, and his homies is more powerful than him. So maybe it was a drug addiction. All right. Now, when you come back, you're gonna pick up the drug. The relapse is worse than week before. But now we come back, it come back with abuse. It come back with poverty because you done lost your job. You done lost your income. You done lost your family. They don't trust you no more. You understand me? It's all messed up. It's empty. So this demon returns. And now the state that you in last is worse than the state you was in first. Don't let go of this gospel plow, Moors. The Prophet Noble Ali said that if you let go of this gospel plow, it'll be better that you had never took hope. Don't let go of this gospel plow. Because if you let go of that gospel plow, then them same demons that was out there in Asia that had us all possessed, that ran us into the temple, they're going to come back in full force, and they're going to be stronger than ever. They're going to be stronger than ever. And now you're going to be broker than ever. Because I got the feeling that each and every last one of us who are exposed to the Moorish Science Temple of America and the truth about what it is and what it provides to the Asiatic nations, whenever you feel that you're going to leave this place, you got to know that it ain't nowhere else to go. You got to know. So you are going willingly into hell with gasoline draws on. You're going to be burnt up, okay? You're going to be burnt up. I want to read what he says next. He says, while he was still talking to the multitudes, behold, his mother and brother stood outside, seeking to speak with him. Then one said to him, look, your mother and your brothers are standing outside, seeking to speak with you. But he answered and said to the one who told him, who is my mother and who are my brothers? See, the key is his mother and his brothers were standing outside while he was talking to his real mother, his brothers and his sisters, those ones who was in the circle. Because what did Jesus say? He said, those who do the work of my Father are my mothers, my brothers, and my sisters. And what she say? Sometimes you got to love people from afar. You got to let them go because they cancers. They ain't no good for you. They ain't no good for you. They bad for you. And they not even trying to be bad for you. But if they not prepared to take this journey, which is necessary, this journey is necessary coming from where we coming from. Coming from where we coming from the graveyard. Then where them tombstones, Negro, black, and colored are. We coming from a graveyard, Moors. How many of y'all want to go back to the graveyard and lay down in the dirt? This ain't like when the little kids go out in the backyard and play in the dirt, get a little dirty, come in and get in the bathtub. No. The graveyard is a final resting place, and it ain't the final resting place for the Moors. That ain't where the Prophet Noble Ali came to set us on a solid rock. That's not that. You know, that's not that. The man to whom Allah had given riches and blessed with a mind to employ them aright is peculiarly favored and highly distinguished. Yeah, they peculiarly favored. And yeah, they are highly distinguished because we live in a wasteful world. And I'm not even talking about how we waste money. I'm talking about how we waste what Allah has given us so freely, his own spirit, giving us his own, his self, giving us all of these chances over and over again after we just continuously be wicked. Just think about what the Bible say in Genesis. What is it? Chapter 6. It says that every thought of man's heart had become wicked. Every thought of man's heart had become wicked. I remember when I first read that, and I was like, no, ain't no way in the world. Like, this has got to be an overreach. But now I'm seeing that it's not. I listened to the presidential debate last night. Did the Moors listen? The Prophet Noble Ali told the Moors, he said, read your newspaper, listen to the radio. I'm going to make the European tell the truth. So I listened to this presidential debate, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, man, this is what we got to choose from. Is this what we got to choose from? We got a rapist on one hand. We got a straight rapist. I mean, Does anything else matter? Does it matter? Does it? Because I can still lay out a whole laundry list of other reasons why this guy is just not the guy. But he's a rapist. And then on the other hand, we got this guy who he got to have some form of dementia. And just like the rapist pointed out, he called us on television for years super predators. Now, I grew up in that era. I was one of the guys he was talking about. A super predator. Before I even knew what a predator was, we were children. We growing up in ghettos. Now, ghettos, let's let the world understand something about ghettos. Ghettos don't accidentally come about. They are projects. These are dropped into cities, into states, into communities. And then the people that's put there, they are put there. They don't choose to go there. We didn't decide to be born in these ghettos. We didn't decide to be born where we lack the proper type of influences, where we lack the knowledge of options, where we lack all of the things that create privilege. All right? We didn't choose this. Okay? They create these ghettos. They experimented on themselves first. All right? The blonde hair, blue-eyed European experimented on the dark hair and the dark-eyed European and locked them in ghettos. So they knew that their ghettos worked way before we ever came into these ghettos. And then now y'all get on TV, call us super predators, and then come and then say, what? If we don't vote for you, we not black. Listen, man, we not black no way. We ain't black no way. All right, but it just speaks to the ignorance. It speaks to the lack of knowledge that God spoke about in the book when he said, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge of self, not just the knowledge of self. It done got way worse than that. It done got way worse than that, because you would think that a brain, a container, it does not ever, none of your experiences, anything that you have ever encountered in your life, it does not leave your brain. It's there. Okay, so if you lack knowledge, think about that. If you lack knowledge, that's something that happens willfully. It happens willfully because everybody has enough life experience by the time they don't reach adulthood to possess knowledge. Okay, that's why the Quran teaches us that knowledge is insufficient. It's insufficient because it comes a dime a dozen, especially nowadays where we got Google and we got all these search engines where you can just find anything. Morris, for the last week, because now all praise is due to Allah and honor to our leadership, I finally become, got the authority to teach more, to actually open up my mind, and to now teach my actual portion. See, the process is important. A lot of Moors go out there and they want to step outside of their authority. All right. I said I never was going to do that. But now, all praise to Allah, honors to the Grand Governor Neil Bey and the Grand Governors K. Gloville for inviting the Mo and then taking the Mo down through there. And I'm happy
Islam.
to be there. Therefore, I've been sharing with the Moors messages about this Holy Quran of the Moor Science Temple of America that's so easy to find right now on Google. But I spent years searching for these. I had to go from one institution to another institution and digging through encyclopedias that was old and outdated to find this knowledge. Okay, in order for me to really learn why is Friday the holy day for all Muslims all over the world, in order for me to really know the meaning and then to know the application of the knowledge, it took a long time for me to get that. It took a long time for me to learn about you, Draco, who was one of Jesus' last teachers. It took a long time for me to learn that he was a Siddhi who possessed all the Siddhi powers. Okay, so when the Moors want to know what the Siddhi power is, they call it Shaktipat. Shaktipat is when the enlightened one could just touch you and make you enlightened. And this is what the Prophet Noble Jew Ali did on the regular. See, when the Sheik Maurice said that in one night, listen to what he said. He said in one night, the Prophet Noble Jew Ali took him through all the ways of life. Now, come on, Moors. He took him through all the ways of life. He the only one. This is why we honor Miliel. This is why we follow that portion of the Moor Science Temple of America, because it ain't been recorded. The Prophet Noble Jew Ali didn't take nobody else through all the ways of life. He didn't take nobody else. So then nobody else had the degrees that you Moors are privy to just by being here now. Just by being here now. See, we got to learn why. What does it mean? When they say that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali healed the sick. Okay? When the Prophet Noble Drew Ali then turns around and say, we don't need no middleman, no priest to intercede, but then he give us sheiks. We got to say, well, what's the purpose for this? Because it is a process, more. It is a process, and not only is it a process, it's a mighty, mighty work. See, every member of the Moorish Science Temple of America is here for a purpose. And it ain't just about you. Key 15. For what purpose was the Moorish Science Temple of America founded? For the uplifting of fallen humanity. So it don't matter, like the sister demonstrated, it don't matter how broken, how beat down, how tore down, how tired you are when you get here. When you walk into a Moorish Science Temple of America, wherever you walked into it, you should be revitalized. Okay? Those Moors in there, they should have the power to stand you upright like masters do. See, that's what masters can do. Ain't that what he said? That's what they said. They say only a master can raise one from the dead. Okay, so when you walk inside of these Moorish Science Temples of America, it ain't no need for you to stay broken, for you to stay beat down, for you to stay weak, for you to stay wondering, for you to exist in a state of confusion and not knowing how you gonna put food on the table and feed your babies.
Say that.
The knowledge of how to do these things should be made plain to you. All of y'all should be speaking like the Sister K. Bey. All of you should be uplifted once you come here. Even when you go through something, you understand completely that it's only temporary, that it's only a test, because we all have to go through all the ways of life. And we don't have the Prophet Noble Drew Ali here right now to take us through all the ways of life in one night, like the Sheik Maurice did, who we give honors to. Okay? These things are important. To the man to whom Allah had given riches and blessed with a mind to employ them aright. Employ. Think about that word. See, because words mean things. Employ. When you employ somebody or employ a thing, then it does work. There is produce from work. All right. When we start working, we start producing results. So therefore, if Allah had given you riches and then you have a mind to utilize these riches in order to produce a profit. And again, just like the Moors demonstrated, we're not talking about no fiat money. See, those things, that fiat, it get its value from us. But we are valuable because God is in us. Okay? So our riches is what's on the inside of us. Where we come to Sunday school to have educed, to have brung out. All right? So when we learn to employ what is in us, this saving power, this everlasting gospel, then Allah gives us more of it. He gives us more of it because of his love for his creation, because of his love for his own self. Think about it. Since we are spirits and a part of Allah, then Allah loving us is him loving himself. That's just like the individual who decides that they're not going to be unhealthy. They decide that they're going to eat right. They decide that they're going to work out. They decide that they're going to cultivate their mind with knowledge. They decide that they're going to love because they know this is in their best interest to have love returned to them. See, this is thinking like God. So when God gives us these second and third and fourth and fifth chances, when God sees us stumbling and fumbling so much that he sends somebody to intercede, to reach out that, the greatest creation, like the chairman's demonstrated their hand for us and to raise us up, especially when he sent a master, one who can raise us up from the dead, because death is a state of mind. It's a state of mind. It ain't a real thing. It's only real if we make it real in our mind. Otherwise, the death that Allah created, it is a friend. But the death that we've been given by society, it's just like that fiat money. It gets its power and authority from us. All right? These things are important. Say, ye are the children of one father, provided for by his care. He didn't say provided for sometimes. He didn't say provided for a measure of your life. He said provided for by his care. The Quran is telling us that Allah is always providing. He always provides. You see? And then it tells us that the advantage lies not in the possession of good things, but in the knowing to use it. What is better than God? Know to use God. He has given himself to be used. All right? The Quran teaches us that force is the will of Allah. And then it tells us that angel, man, and other thinking things direct the force. What? You mean to tell me when one demonstrates, inshallah, that statement is within my power, that I can actually command that I can actually direct that I can actually ensure that Allah wills a blessing for me and my loved ones, for me and my community, for the universe, if the scope of my vision reached that far. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I was just talking to a brother, African Hebrew Israelite brother that we met at Moab Day. These are good more too.
Islam.
I was just talking to that brother, and we was talking about how ones, you know, they can't commit to their own ideas, even when they have good ideas, even when they have given parts of their fortune in order to manifest the idea. And I told him, I said, because they lack a belief and confidence in themselves to actually do this great thing. See, that's the problem with so many Asiatics. So many Asiatics are convinced that they niggas. I mean, they convinced. They believe it with their whole being that they are niggas. All right? It was some youngsters, and it was one young lady. It disgusted me to my core. You know, I had to pull up on each and every last one of them solo dolo after I overheard their conversation, right? But the first thing that caught my ear, the little sister walked by and the brother asked her, said, where is that guy who used to pick you up? Now, we at the halfway house center. She say, oh, I don't mess with him no more. I got tired of having black eyes. Now, listen to what she said. She said, I got tired of having black eyes. That was the first thing that caught my mind. So then two more that caught my attention. So then two more young brothers, they end up walking up and getting into the conversation with him. And one of the young guys, he say, man, these guys now, they all on social media, on Facebook, talking about some grand rising queen. How you doing, queen? And she like, yeah, they be all in my inbox talking about grand rising queen. How you doing, queen? And I started to say to myself, I say, hold up. You just said that you got tired of black eyes, but you don't want to be a queen. What you looking for, something in the middle? What the freak is that? What is it that you are seeking? If you don't want black eyes, you don't want somebody beating on you, you don't want somebody disrespecting you, you don't want somebody looking down on you, but you don't want nobody to lift you up and set you on a pedestal either. Make it make sense. That speaks to a sickness. That's a diseased form of thinking. There is some virus that has infected her spirit in order for her to not desire to be the queen. That's because she don't see herself in that, sitting on that throne. She don't see herself able to do what a queen does, and that is to command nations. That is to command a husband. Man, one of my favorite all-time movies is 300.
Man, say that.
This part. When Leonidas had came from the oracle, that night he couldn't sleep. His wife woke up and she said, sire, what troubles you? And he said, I was thinking about what the oracle said. And she said, ain't no way that you should be worried about what any woman said, except for I, your queen. Listen, man. Listen, that's one of my all-time favorite movies because of that statement. Because of that statement, and all you Moabites, see, I know you possess this form of thinking. This is how you form the Sisters Auxiliary, to be the right hand of the prophet. Okay? But I feel so sorry for all of those ones whose nationality they don't know. They don't know. What was the nationality of Ruth? Ruth was a Moabite. Today, she don't know what she is. She is clueless when it comes to the knowledge of who and what she is. She don't have an idea at all. And therefore, she don't know what she wants. All she knows to do is to complain about what she has. You're complaining about what you got, while at the same time, you are not sitting down, being still, and decide what it is you want, and then mapping out a course to it. What is that, sisters? That is the lack of an accomplished mind. Therefore, can't be a wife. Not according to the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. They're not prepared. Okay? Not prepared. That thing disgusted me, Moors. You know, that disgusted me. So, but it just speaks to the job that we got to do. And then for those young Moors, you know, just to have the type of attitude, you know, that the women who look like them, you know, that the women who look like their mother, who look like their sister and their grandmother, you know, should be treated that way. You know, it's a disgusting idea to have to live with. And therefore, you know, what we do when we see something that we don't like, then we do everything in our power to change it, right? We do everything in our power to change it. So, you know, we're gonna try to heal our nation. You know, the Prophet Noble Ali, you know, he has left his power with us. You know, like it said, it's a latent and abundant power that can be called into action as a matter of defense at any time. And right now, we have to defend our nation against against these bacteria and these viruses. You know, they diseased. They need doctors. You know, so Islam Moors. Again, I want to give honors to the Grand Governor, the Sheik Maurice Bey, and the Grand Governors. The Sheik is K Glove here. It's an honor to be here. All praise is due to Allah. Peace and love. I yield.
Islam, happy holiday.
Islam, Lord.